Hello, welcome back to a very interesting lesson in Vedic astrology. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about the upcoming Saturn Transit that's going to happen on November 2nd, 2014, the midnight of November 2nd. Everyone from the beginners in astrology, those who have very little knowledge of Vedic astrology, up to the experts, always discuss Saturn Transit much more than any other transit. And that's because Saturn occupies a house for 2.5 years in one sign, the longest period that any planet occupies. So that makes news. So that's the reason why Saturn Transit always gets the maximum attention. 2, Saturn is always known to give trouble. It's always associated with disease, with obstructions, with obstacles, with failures, and all sorts of problems. That's another reason why people look up to Saturn Transit each time it moves from one sign to another. This Saturn Transit is very important because Saturn has been exalted in the sign that he has been there for a very long time, 2.5 years, in Tula Rashi or Libra, where he is in a very happy mood, and now he's just leaving that house which is very dear to him, and now enters another house which belongs to the planet Mars. And Mars and Saturn, they don't get along well. Every time they look at each other, it's always tension time for the world. In general, more violence, and whenever Saturn and Mars have anything to do with each other, then there is this violence. So that is for the nations and for the larger groups of people. But in astrology, we don't look so much at that. We always look at individual horoscopes. Transit reminds us of a peculiarity of life, that good things don't last, and the same is with the bad times. So God, in His infinite mercy, He always gives everybody a chance. Okay, last time you had a chance, and this time let me have a chance. That's how it looks. Each time certain sets of people get into the examination time, and certain people get into holiday time. The transit seems to be just telling that, okay, now it's time for you, and then now it's time for you, and so on. Believe it or not, transit is not the most important thing in astrology, especially Vedic astrology. In Vedic astrology, your horoscope is the final key to everything. We are now just going to look at your moon sign, which is just one of the 9 grahas in your horoscope. So what happened to the remaining 8? And that can only be seen from your horoscope if you go and probably consult an astrologer. The Dasha Bhukti, or the planetary periods, always go hand in hand with your horoscope, Lagna, and all the 9 planets put together. Whereas transits always go hand in hand with your Ashtaka-varga. So when you're going to study transit results, always keep your Ashtaka-varga chart next to you and then superimpose the transits over that. Please watch the video that I have done where I am discussing the role of Ashtaka-varga in relation to transits, and also know how to calculate from when this Saturn effect will really start. I have done a video on that. So remember that we are now not just dealing with one sign. You need to know where your moon is within that sign, and then you have to adjust accordingly the time from which what will be the delay before Saturn actually starts working on you. It's like, a long queue, and each one is on a queue. They're not in the same place. So there's a 30 seat, in a sign, in a moon sign. So you don't know where is your moon. Is it in the first seat, second seat, third seat, and so on. So 1 degree Saturn will move in 1 month. So you will have to adjust that according to your horoscope. So even though the date of transit is very important, for just knowing when it is moving, from that date you will have to either subtract or add based upon the moon's displacement from 15 degrees, which is the midpoint. If it is minus 15 degrees, then the effects would start always earlier, and if it is greater than 15 degrees, it will always happen later. So let me now go to the whiteboard and explain to you what really is happening in the sky on November 2nd, 2014. So long Saturn has been here, which is called Tula Rashi or Libra, a sign where Saturn is exalted, and that means the horoscopes of all the people born in this 2.5 years they would have Saturn here. And now it's no more here. From here he moves to this sign. And so now that means now Saturn is not going to be here from this date onwards, and he's going to be here for 2.5 years. Now this, as soon as it enters, the 7.5 year Saturn for DHANUS Rasi or Sagittarius starts. Or we can actually do it like this. So this is a warning sign, exam time. So DHANUS Rasi people will have to be very careful. So what I was talking about is, your moon could be here, 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 anywhere. There are 30 degrees. So if it is here, it is already started, and if it is here, it is going to start after 15 months. Okay? If it is on this line exactly, it has already started 15 months earlier. So that's how we have to do it. Saturn stays in one sign for 30 months. So now this transit is very important for certain people. I'm just going to discuss only the most important ones here, and this is just the introduction part. But remember, I'm planning to do separate videos for each moon sign, but this is just the introduction. Also, you should remember that never read Saturn transit without Jupiter. Thank God Jupiter is here. In a very nice mood. Is willing to help people because he is exalted. If it is badly placed in transit from your moon sign, then all you have to do is approach Jupiter or your guru or your teacher or your professor or your doctor, your lawyer or astrologer, etc. And then you can actually convert this very easily into a positive Jupiter. You need the help of Jupiter whenever Saturn gives you trouble. So that is the whole point. So let's say exam time, and then there is the teacher. Okay. For whom does Saturn give a tough examination? Now it is for DHANUS Rasi people who have just started. For Tula Rashi, the last part of 7.5 years. So in a way, congratulations Tula, because you already crossed 5 years and now the last 2.5 years. A little more to go and that's it, it's over. Then Vrishchika Rasi. This is, they are right in the middle of the storm. So extra care for Vrishchika Rasi people, but don't worry, Jupiter is in a good spot. He is in the 9th house. So there is a 1 year protection period. All you have to do is just contact all the people related to Jupiter, and you will be able to actually protect yourself from the effect of Saturn on your moon sign. Now this transit also is very important for Mesha Rasi. That is because from Mesha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, Saturn occupies the 8th house, and it is in a way we can compare it. If you studied in India, then you would know this term, half-yearly examination. Now this can be compared to the annual examination, and this is the half-yearly examinations. It's also capable of giving you trouble, and in most cases people have complained that the Ashtama Shani or the 2.5 years Saturn period was stronger or hit them harder more than the 7.5 years period. But the main reason for that is here people get used to it, so they somehow seem to be managing it. Here it suddenly comes, does its job for 2.5 years, so the change is very drastic, and that's why they always complain whenever the 8th house transit of Saturn happens. They say lots of challenges to face, it was really bad. So these are the people who have to watch from the challenging point of view. Now let's do for whom is, for which are the Rashis who are going to have good news. Now for Kanya Rashi people, it's great news. This transit is going to be like once in a 60 years time. You get such a fantastic combination where you have Saturn in the 3rd and simultaneously having Jupiter in the 11th. So this is very good already, and it must have started showing its effect, provided you were somewhere here, your moon was here. And in the same way, when after November 2nd, 2014, after the midnight of November 2nd, Saturn moves into the 3rd, and that's the beginning of the end of your 7.5 year Saturn. So you should throw a party, not for anybody else, but for the poor people in your society, thanking Saturn that he has seen you through this 7.5 years period. The next thing is, it's good news for all Mithuna Rashi people. And Mithuna Rashi people are already being favored by Jupiter being in the 2nd house. They can expect good things in the family. This 6th house Saturn is a very, very powerful transit for all those people who are in competitive fields. They have enemies, destruction of enemies, etc. The end of problems, the end of diseases, conquering, victory in battles, and so on and so forth. So Saturn is really good in the 6th house. And then there is another sign that is going to be favored. It is Makara, Capricorn. Now this is Gemini, and this is Virgo, and this is Capricorn. Capricorn people are generally very quiet but hardworking, and they are the mountain goat. They always wait, and the wait is now come to a final phase. The wait is, and now the wait is over. For all the perseverance that they put in, now this is reward time, because Saturn is in the 11th, the house is related to fulfillment of desires, along with Jupiter in the 7th house, which is gives extraordinary results. So this is also, all these things make these 3 people the most favored after the Saturn transit happens. Now Saturn is only favorable in the 3rd, like this, the 6th, this way, and in the 11th. Everywhere, every other place is not good, or neutral, or bad, or very bad. So this is how Saturn is. So most of the time is bad. And that's the main reason why Saturn gets the maximum attention. Now the most important thing about Saturn is that, just remember that if it is negative, consider it as exam time, and when an exam approaches, all you have to do is stop playing games, don't relax, don't go for entertainment, especially alcohol. Alcohol is very bad whenever you're going through a very bad Saturn transit. It's like consuming alcohol during exam time, or taking drugs during exam time. You won't even know how to read your exam paper. So that's how it is. So the most important thing is the equivalent of studying for your exam is helping the physically challenged people, the mentally challenged people, the helpless people in your society. There's nothing greater than that. Offer food to them, offer clothing to them, offer medicine to them, and that's how you actually start preparing for this kind of an exam. So please do not think that astrology preaches fate and predeterminism, which is actually not the truth about Vedic astrology. Vedic astrology always said that please know this and start changing it. So after whenever Maharishi Parashara says something negative about Dasha Bhuktis, at the end of it he always says, please do these things, and it will change. So change is possible, and who else can change except you? Thank you so much for watching this video. In case you have any doubts regarding this video, please post your comments in the comment section below. In the next fortnight, I plan to do the rest of this Saturn transit. I'm going to do from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, all the 12 signs. So please subscribe so that you will know when I'm going to do it, and let me know of your views. Thank you so much for watching this video. These number charts are called Ashtaka Varga because it has got something to do with 8, it's an 8-point calculation, so that's why it's called